So Sony announced, now that they announced what games are coming out in the launch of the PS5, they announced that some games are going to be more expensive than others. So they announced that Demon's Souls Remake and Destruction All-Stars are going to be $70 at launch, which is $10 higher than what we now have, which is $60, or 70 euros and 80 euros respectively. And there have also been publishers like 2K who said that they would price NBA 2K21 at $70 on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/Series S. So this, of course, has people a lot of opinions on this. So some people are saying it's unjustified. Some people understand it. I think this is the new norm going forward. So to give you some background, I'm a game developer by trade. For those of you who might not know, I'm a game producer. I work for a game studio called Avalanche Studios, not to be confused with this studio that is making the Harry Potter game, which is just Avalanche. I don't work for the Harry Potter studio. I work for the studio that is known for Just Cause, Rage 2, and Mad Max. And I'm currently working on a game called Second Extinction, which is coming out next month. But yes, so from a developer standpoint, this of course is good. This of course is good because, you know, the game costs more. That means there's more profit being made. So from a developer standpoint, hey, better, cool. And especially because game sales have been moving more towards digital over this this current generation. So I think most publishers now have over 50% of their sales, this is speaking about AAA games, over 50% of their sales are now digital instead of disc-based. And we can also see this in the Xbox Series S, which doesn't have a disc drive, and also the PlayStation 5 digital-only edition, which only has it doesn't have a disc drive either. So both of the console manufacturers also noticed this and are offering versions with no disc drive, which of course saves costs for everyone. But the benefit of having games be digital instead of physical is that on physical games, if you have a $60 game, you make about, I think it was around $15 to $20 from what I remember. It was about, I think it was $15 that you make from a physical AAA game, which costs $60 for the consumer. That's because you have to pay printing the discs, shipping the discs, storing the discs. You have to pay for the stores to have your discs in the store there, etc., etc. So there's a lot of costs that you have to pay, and then the actual profit that you make from one sold game is just $15. Whereas if you have a $60 game that is digital only, you lose 30% of that, but you get to keep 70% because 30% goes to the first party, so Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft, depending on which store it's on. If it's on your own store, hey, you get to keep 100% of it. Own digital store is what I mean. So there's a lot more profit. You get to keep, what is it? Let me just quickly get out my calculator. So we have a $60 game and we get to keep 70% of it. That would be $42 instead of $15. So you can already see that's a huge difference in profit margin. Huge. So from a developer publisher point of view, the bump in the $10 in the price is great because that adds another $7-ish. So $7 more per sold copy is a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be made per sold copy. So from that point, it is good because you get more money out of the games. However, from a consumer point of view, I can understand that people are upset because a $10 hike in a game price, for some people that's a lot of money, or 10 euros for us in Europe. For some people, that can be a lot of money. It can be very expensive to get that extra $10. I totally get that, especially now with COVID. A lot of people having lost jobs, definitely I don't scoff at that, just pay more for a head. No, of course, I understand. Many people, that's not going to be an option, or it's going to be difficult. But the thing is, with video games specifically, you're absolutely right, technology gets more efficient, gets cheaper, but who should that, cost be put onto? Because as consumers, people's income rate has not kept up with the production or efficiency rate of production in the West specifically. So putting that on consumers, yeah, it can suck a little bit, I can understand. But we also have to take into account that game prices haven't risen in like 20 years. It's been that $60 price. We've had that for like 20 years now, I think. And during the cartridge era, game prices were even higher because they were like sometimes 70 or even $80. And then if we adjust that to inflation, like they're way more than now. I mean, that would be way more now than then. So it is understandable that this is happening. But yeah, I can definitely understand that people are annoyed by this. I think one other thing an interesting point that Mike Bithell made on Twitter, he is an indie developer, made games like Thomas Was Alone, Volume, Subsurface Circular, and other games. Great dude. He posted that one point with a higher price point like this for Sony is that they're basically signaling to third parties the value of their games. So, Sony has now their own kind of Game Pass-esque service. With PS Plus now, starting with the PS5, you're going to be able to play like 20 PS4 games. As part of PS Plus, you can just download them on a PS5 and play them. And those include third-party games. I think that is also a way for them to signal the value of one sold copy within a subscription service like that. Because I would imagine, I haven't seen these deals, and even if I did, I couldn't talk about them. But I haven't seen them, so I'm not breaking any NDAs. I don't know the deals. They weren't shown to me. Listen. Anyway. I would imagine that Sony would pay developers a fixed rate. So they say, okay, we're going to add your game to PS Plus. People are going to get it for free. We imagine that you're going to get X downloads. One download will be worth Y, so X multiplied by Y is this much money, and that's how much of a flat rate we're going to pay you. And with a higher pricing game, they can also say, we're going to pay you a little bit more because it's a higher price, right? The PS1 and 2 games were like 40 to 50 euros max, though. Let me try and find out. Like, it looks like PS2 games were $50. Don't you have old GameStop ads stored? I don't know. And even because I used to work at GameStop back in the day. But even if I did, I didn't work during the PS2 era. Because we had PS2 games, yes, but I started working during the PS3, Xbox 360 era. I just started when they came out at GameStop. But yeah, so it would have been like $50, but if we adjust, so let's see, that would be, so $50 in 2002 would be $72 today, roughly, $72. So that was the price of a new game back then, and that price has stayed fixed, or, it grew to 60, sorry, and then the 60 has stayed fixed for the past 20-ish years. So, yeah, games technically cost more then than they do now. So technically, the prices of games are keeping up with inflation now, because that hasn't changed in a long, long time. So I think it's, like paying 80 euros for a new game, like that sounds a lot to me. I'm like, ouch, that hurts. But I think it's gonna become the new norm. If it was just third-party publishers like, 2K and Ubisoft or whoever would do that, I would say maybe, but it might not stick. But since it's Sony that is doing this, the first party, I think it's going to stick. I think they will set the new norm for this. And yeah, I think it's here to stay, unfortunately. Hello there. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for future videos. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below, or you can come visit my stream on Twitch. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Central European Time, and I can answer any questions there. We play games there, go through the news, and talk about some leftist politics as well. See you in the next video. Bye!